Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are going to talk about a pretty radical act of separation, but not from the world, from your own mind. We're going on a journey to find this really deep sense of freedom that's, available to us in any given moment. And it all starts with a very simple question. So let me just ask you this. Think about it for a second. When a worry just pops into your head, does it kind of run your whole day? When that inner critical voice starts speaking, do you just believe it? No questions asked? If you're nodding along, you are definitely not alone. But there is a totally different way to experience your own mind. And this gets to the very heart of it. See, most of us live our lives completely glued to the movie playing in our minds. All the drama, the stories, the feelings that are changing from one second to the next. We think that movie is us. But what if? What if you could learn to be the screen? That silent, always there awareness that just holds it all. To really get this, I want you to imagine your mind is like a private movie theater. And you've been sitting there, front row center, your entire life, just completely captivated by the show. A thought flickers onto the screen. I am a failure. And boom, we buy it. Hook, line, and sinker. We react like it's the absolute truth, thinking, yep, I am a failure. Then another scene starts, a flash of anger, and we dive right in. I am such an angry person. We've gotten so wrapped up in these flickering images, we've completely forgotten that we're just the one watching. So, what's the way out? Well, the solution comes from this really powerful yogic concept called Sakshi Bhav, or witness consciousness. It's basically the art of getting up from that front row seat and moving to the back of the theater. You still see the movie, right? You still hear the sound, but you're not lost in the plot anymore. You're just watching. And that simple shift in perspective, well, that's the key to real freedom. All right, let's try another metaphor, one that might make this click even more. Forget the movie theater for a second. Instead, I want you to imagine this. You are the sky. So here's the first piece of that. Your core being, that essential awareness that is you, it's like a huge, wide open sky. It's just always there, clear, untouched, and totally pristine. And your thoughts? The worries, the anger, even the happy thoughts and the plans for later, they're just clouds passing through that sky. Some are light and fluffy, some are dark and stormy, but they are all temporary. They're just floating through the vastness that you are. And this is where it gets really profound. Think about it. Does the sky get mad at a thunderstorm? Does it try to fight it or push the clouds away? Of course not. It just lets them be because it knows they're just going to pass. A storm cloud cannot damage or stain or change the fundamental nature of the sky. And the exact same thing is true for you and your thoughts. Okay, so the metaphors are making sense, right? But how do we actually do this? How do we stop grabbing onto every cloud that floats by? Let's get into some real practical tools you can start using like today. First things first, we've got to understand what makes these thoughts so sticky in the first place. And here's the secret. It's not the thoughts themselves. It's our judgment of them. Judgment is the super glue. When we say, ugh, I shouldn't feel this way, or this is a bad thought, we're basically starting a wrestling match with a thought. And the more we wrestle, the stickier it gets. So here's tool number one. It's called labeling, and it is an incredibly simple way to dissolve that glue. The next time a strong feeling like anxiety comes up, instead of going down the rabbit hole of, I am anxious, you just gently and mentally label what's happening. Worrying, worrying. See that subtle shift? You're not just playing a word game. This is actually a neurological trick. It literally shifts activity in your brain from the emotional me parts to the more objective observational parts. You've just turned a monster into an interesting data point. Our second tool is more of a mindset, and it's captured so beautifully by the poet Rumi. Think of yourself as a guest house. Every thought, every feeling, it's just a visitor. So instead of resisting that sting of criticism you got at work, you treat it like a guest. You just acknowledge it. Ah, hello, the guest of defensiveness has arrived. And by not fighting it, you can actually respond to the feedback with a clear head instead of just reacting. When you stop being afraid of the guests, they lose all their power over your house. Okay, now let's go even deeper. We're moving beyond just managing our thoughts, and we're going to start looking for that silent presence that's always been there, right behind them. This right here might be the most profound question you can ever ask yourself. There's a voice in there that narrates your life, right? It's always commenting, criticizing, planning. But who is hearing that voice? The simple fact that you can hear it, that you can observe it, proves that you are not it.
The speaker and the listener can't be the same thing.
And that distinction is everything. The voice is noisy, it's temporary, it's always changing its tune. But the awareness that hears the voice, is silent and still, and it's always there. That awareness, that quiet listener, that is your true home. Everything else is just a radio playing in the background. Now, when you first start trying to do this, you're probably going to notice that your mind is just wild. It's jumping all over the place like a mischievous little monkey. And here's the secret. Don't get mad at the monkey. Don't try to beat it into submission. Be compassionate. Your mind is usually just trying to protect you in its own clumsy way. A really gentle way to calm it down is just to give it a simple job, like focusing on a word or watching a candle flame. You want to treat it like a beloved but super hyperactive pet, not like an enemy you have to defeat. So what's the ultimate payoff for all this practice? I mean, what does it actually feel like to live from this place of witness consciousness? Well, it feels like living in the stratosphere. Think about it like this. The weather in your mind is always going to change. Some days are going to be sunny, some are going to be stormy, some are going to be foggy. If your sense of peace depends on the weather being perfect, you're going to be miserable because it's always at the mercy of the next storm front moving in. So the invitation here is simple. Stop identifying with the weather. Identify with the sun. The sun is the witness. It's the light that shines on all the weather patterns, but it's never, ever affected by them. It's still shining, whether there are clouds below or not. 30,000 feet above the Earth, the sun is always shining. It is always day in the stratosphere. This whole practice is about learning how to live there, to reside in that high, clear, peaceful altitude of your own being, just watching the mental weather pass by far below. So I'm going to leave you with this question to carry with you. What would change in your daily life, in how you handle a conflict with someone you love, in how you show up at work, if you stopped identifying with the passing clouds, and instead remembered that you are the ever-present sun? Thanks so much for joining me in this exploration.